what's up, everybody? I'm Dr. Matt. It's nice to meet you. Today, I wanted to take a few minutes to talk about something that I find is probably the most ignored thing when it comes to the body healing, and that's the inflammatory process. And so we're going to spend a few minutes talking about the 5 most ignored steps when it comes to you healing because of this inflammatory process. Listen, pain sucks. I get it. We named a podcast after it. And the truth is, how do I even know about this? Why am I even an authority on this? Because about 6 years ago, in 2015, in January, I actually woke up in the middle of the night with excruciating pain shooting down my left leg. I didn't know what was going on. I was scared. I was broken, concerned, but I had to do life. And so I got up, went and did my life. I went and did that day. I went and saw my patients, went and tried to do the best I could, but the pain was debilitating. Now, that was about 5 years ago now. Oh my gosh, almost 6 years ago now. And what I've learned over the last 6 years has been life-changing for me, life-changing for our practice, and life-changing for our patients, because I discovered that one of the things we're ignoring is the inflammation process and the inflammatory process of the body. And so I want to talk to you a little bit about that today. Now, why am I an expert in this? Like I said, I had no idea in January of 2015 that I would likely lay in bed, that I actually did, I think, if I think about it, likely laid in bed almost daily for almost the entire day for almost 4 months. That is a long time for an entrepreneur to be able to do nothing, especially when my entire livelihood is based on me using my hands and helping people in a one-on-one situation. I didn't move for 4 months. My poor wife had to do everything for us. The pain was so bad that the only places I ever went were to the bathroom, to help the kids out with a little bit of dinner, and to get to the doctor. And the truth is, I didn't really do much other than that because there was nothing I could do because the pain to move was so intense. But what I learned over those 4, 5, 6 months as I dove deep into my own healing, because I was committed to healing and committed to doing it naturally as best I could, was that the inflammatory process was my enemy. That's the number one thing, in my opinion, that is constantly overlooked. The inflammatory process. Listen, people are Googling all day long. How do I get out of pain? How do I get back pain problems, neck pain problems, joint problems? How do I fix this? And the things that pop up first are always medication and always physical exercises. And I'm not against either, but I will tell you this. If you do a deep dive into the literature, you'll find that majority of all of your problems are based in inflammation. The process of healing is based in inflammation. The process of why you're feeling pain is based in inflammation. The process of how you got there in the first place is based in inflammation. So I want to talk to you a little bit about inflammation today from the standpoint of my authority on the subject, because all I've done is study it for the last 5 or 6 years and apply it to all kinds of patients and all kinds of situations with massively amazing results. So if you look below on this page, I kind of gave you some areas where you can take some notes, but the number one most ignored thing, in my opinion, is that people don't even know what inflammation is. And so instead of me describing it to you in my way, I want to read to you the definition first. So I'm going to look up here a little bit because I have it printed off. Here it is. Inflammation is a local response to cellular injury that is marked by capillary dilation, leukocytic infiltration, redness, heat, and pain, and serves as a mechanism initiating the elimination of noxious agents of damaged tissue. That is a long medical definition. Let's break it down. A local response to an injury. You have an injury, an insult, something happens. It could be a knee, it could be an ankle, it could be your back, it could be your neck, it could be your liver, it could be your heart. You have a local response to cells that are now injured. And that's marked by capillary dilation, meaning the body's going to bring more blood to the area for the purpose of healing. Leukocytic infiltration, which is the white blood cells in your immune system immediately going to work to clean up the damaged cells and to start the repair process. Redness, heat, and pain is just the side effect of more blood and more inflammation. And it serves as a mechanism initiating the elimination of those agents of damaged tissue. So as these cells are healing and as these cells have initially got damaged, the body wants to clean those. So the definition of inflammation is really your body doing the right thing. The problem with those of us in pain still is, 1, we didn't let it do the right thing because we blocked it. And 2, we're still not doing the right thing because we're not stopping making more. And so that's what I want to talk about. So if you go down, and I'm going to take little notes here, the first thing I want you to understand when it comes to inflammation is that you don't understand it. So number 1, inflammation is good for you. It is part of your healing process, and you cannot eliminate it completely. You have got to allow your body to go through this process of inflammation. We don't do that in this country. We're so quick to take Advil. We're so quick to take medication. We're so quick to get rid of the pain that we've eliminated the inflammatory process required for us to heal, which leaves us unhealthy and unstable down the road the rest of our lives. So what is inflammation? A good thing. But that brings us to secret number 2, or most ignored thing number 2, is that there's 2 types, in my opinion. There's good inflammation and bad inflammation. So take some notes when you listen to this. Good inflammation, that's that process where you twist your ankle and it swells up and you hate it. But that process is necessary to repair. We're so fast to put ice on it. We're so fast to reduce the swelling. We didn't give it a chance to heal correctly, which is why a lot of us are walking around on joint injuries years later, because we all heard ice and elevate instead of allowing our body the process to heal. So there is good inflammation. That's what we talked about. That's where the body's bringing more blood. That's where the white blood cells in the immune system are doing their job cleaning up the bad. We need that. The problem is that we skip that. So by doing that, what we do is set ourselves up for a lifetime of bad. And bad is that process where every time we step funny, it inflames again. Every time we move it funny, it inflames again. Every time we stretch it funny, it moves again. Hi, honey. Every time we do things to our body, it inflames again. That's bad. That is chronic inflammation, and that is damaging to cells and damaging to tissues. You might be stuck there now saying, well, I did it wrong in the beginning. What am I supposed to do now? You can always start now. You can always start now. And so we've got inflammation as something we need, and we've got 2 types. We've got good and we've got bad. And we need to understand the difference of those when it comes to injury. But for the sake of the rest of this video, I want to focus on the other 3 mostly overlooked things that we need to take care of. And the first is that, where does inflammation come from? It's very easy to understand when you twist your ankle that your ankle swells. That's simple. But what about your liver? Can that get inflamed? And what causes it? What about your heart? What about your spleen? What about your gut? What about your back? What about your neck? See, these areas all undergo the process of inflammation all day long, every day, because we're constantly doing things to our body. We're human. Let's face it, we're not going to do everything perfect, but we have to understand that when we're not healing, when we're not in a place where our body is constantly getting better and beating these issues that we're dealing with, that means we're in a state of bad inflammation. We're constantly telling our body to limit its healing for the purpose of the inflammatory process. So the last 3 things that you can see in the page down below are things that I want you to think about for a second, because I wonder if they're getting in the way. So inflammation comes from 3 things: physical, chemical, and emotional, mental stress. When these stressors are more than our body can handle, our body has an insult that happens, an injury to it. And that injury might be really small, paper cut, stubbed toe. It might be really big, cancer, diabetes. Insults are happening to the cellular tissue every single day from physical, chemical, and emotional stress. I want you to think of a few things, and I actually asked you to list them, because as you list these things, then you can go ahead and begin the process of reversing it. And I want you to start with the physical stresses of your day-to-day life. What are you doing every day that's stopping your body from creating good inflammation that's healing and turning it to chronic inflammation? What are you doing every day physically? Like, here's some examples. Are you exercising? Maybe you're exercising, but it's wrong. So like, is your technique good? Is the way you're exercising correct? Something to think about. Write them down. The second is your posture. Like, I'm kind of hunched over right now so I could get the best light behind me. But the truth is think about your posture all day long. If you sit at a desk or you're standing, think about your job. Are you bent over? Are you lifting heavy things correctly? What kind of physical stresses are you going through? Think about sleeping posture. Think about sleep at night, where you're supposedly 6, 7, 8 hours in the same position all night long. What's that doing to the spine? What's it doing to the joints? What's that doing to the physical part of the body? You can probably come up with a gazillion things that physically are happening during the day that could be causing unneeded chronic inflammation. The second one, if you go to number 4 there, is our chemical stressors. And I want to talk in depth about this because I want you to think deeply on this. If you've got good inflammation, you've got bad inflammation. Inflammation is just chemicals. Well, how do you get chemicals? You get chemicals from your food. So what you eat is really becomes who you are. So the question is, here I am over here not understanding why I'm not getting better, but on this hand, what am I doing to get better? Am I doing things correctly? Let me see. So let's start listing some. How's my diet? Is it anti-inflammatory? Is it supporting positive inflammation, or is it creating bad inflammation, like too many carbohydrates and sugars? What am I drinking every day? Am I addicted to soda and carbonation? I wonder if that's going to create chronic or good inflammation and allow my body to heal. What about the medications that I'm taking, whether for my actual problem that I can't heal from or just in general? Medications are toxic poison. Are they necessary sometimes? Sure. But the longer they stay in our body, the more chemicals they put into our body recognizes them as things it doesn't want. That's an insult to the body, and the body creates an inflammatory process. That's why we have things called side effects, because the chemicals of the medication are breaking us down. So there's one. We could talk about water. Do we drink enough water or not? What about the supplements we take? Are they good for us? Are they bad for us? So guys, there's a zillion things that you're doing each day that I want you to list down, a couple of them, that if you changed them would move that bad inflammation back into that good healing inflammatory category. And then the last one is probably the most important in my opinion. That's the emotional category. You say to me, wait, you're telling me my back, my neck, my ankle, my nose, all these things are not healing because of my mind? Well, listen, hold on a second. Let's talk about that. Number one, the fastest way to create inflammation in your body is through your thought process. Get angry for a second, see how you feel, right? Have a really nasty moment where you're just angry about life, which is pretty easy right now with everything going on in the world. See how that makes your body feel. Do you feel good? Feel healing? Feel happy and healthy? You ever met anybody who's chronically happy with an ulcer? Nope. You ever meet, those people are always chronically negative. They're just negative thinkers, and it destroys their gut, it destroys their stomach lining, and they get ulcers. So the question is, what emotionally is going on right now with you that's not allowing your body to heal correctly, like the stress of finances? Maybe it's a work problem, the stress of marriage or relationship, stress with your children. Maybe it's the emotional stress around what's happening in the world. Maybe it's fear. But all of these emotions still have a threshold where your body can only tolerate so much before things happen. And it turns into a problem that causes more pain. So my question is, if you're not healing, what things are happening every single day? So then the answer is, well, what do I do about all these, Matt? So I've just made my list. I've taken my notes and I've made my list. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Do I just reverse that stuff? Yeah. Do I just handle it better? Yeah. But here's where I want to give you tips. Here's where I want to give you cheats and biohacks and all kinds of amazing things. You can reverse those, but it's way easier just to change them out. It's way, say hi, Elliot. It's way easier just to go ahead and replace them. And it's way easier to just do the things that your body needs to do. And that's where we want to go with this. We want to go ahead and give you that information. We want to go ahead and set you on that path, because it's so important to me that you understand that nobody gets to tell you that you can't heal, and that you owe it to yourself and you owe it to the people that you love to get better. But it's going to come down to you. And number one, you got to handle that inflammation. It's the one people miss. And some of you right now are going, oh, I didn't know any of this. Yep, me neither. And I probably could have got better in half the amount of time had I known how to handle this. So you guys do the homework and then go ahead and get ready to learn what we want you to learn so that you can heal. All right, this is Dr. Matt. I hope this was beneficial for you. And remember, no one, and I mean no one, gets to tell you that you can't heal. Have a blessed day, guys.